I'm doing it again. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our sixth. Isn't that a hard word to say? Sixth live. And this week we are going to be carrying on with our changes 12 steps. So last week we did our first 4. We did admit you've got a problem, step number 1. Take action, step number 2. Trust and cooperate, step number 3. And get the power, step number 4. So we will be starting with step number 5 today, and we're probably going to do 5, 6, 7, 8. We're probably going to do another 4. And then we'll also at the end, as usual, just give you an update on any new groups, and we might have a little guest in our live today to give us just some clarification on the difference between the adult programs. We might not, we will see. How is everyone today? By everyone, I mean the one person viewing us right now. How are you? I'm going to give it a minute or so, like we usually do, just to see if anyone's going to join us before we start rambling on. But I won't give it too long because I know people come back and watch these videos and we add it to our YouTube, so we don't want huge gaps.
I'm just going to drop in the comments links to all the information with all the peer supports. So it's just going in, hopefully, in a second. That's that first one.
We lost our one person. So in the chat now, we've got links to...
That's all the peer support groups, face-to-face peer support groups, online peer support groups, and the social activities are on that particular page we've dropped into the chat.
They certainly are. Let's see if anyone's going to join us. Maybe, maybe not. If not, it's going to be me, Kris, and the black coffee. Oh, that's not very appropriate, is it?
No.
I'd rather be drinking beer. I wouldn't. Black coffee's just fine for today. Shall we start? Shall we wait for some viewers?
I think we need to wait for somebody.
Let me see if I can share it. Yeah, it seems a bit weird, doesn't it? Even if there's only one person, you feel like you're talking to someone, don't you? I wonder if they can hear that.
Probably.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah, somebody watched you do your mobile phone impression. That's good.
Ha! Oh.
I'm just dropping in as well the link to some workshops as well.
Hello, Lisa and Carl. Woohoo! Good afternoon. How do you do? Share. Oh, wow. Why did that do that?
So if you've got any questions as we go through, any comments, just drop them in the chat and we'll try and answer them. If they're quite...
Hello, Jane. Welcome to our live.
If they're long questions or require a big response, if you could just PM us instead, it's just a bit easier for us to
Or
manage.
if you're under the age of 30, DM, because that's what we say. You know, we are going to start in a minute. We're going to be continuing with our steps, starting with step number 5. And you're going to get just mine and Chris's opinions and everything. So why would you not want to stick around for that? Hello, Lorraine. Whoa, that sounded weird. Did I say Lorraine then? My brain heard something different then. On a side note, look at these. How cool are they? Just to remind us all to be happy. Smiley faces. There we go. We need to keep scrolling down. Shall we crack on? Because if people are watching back, actually, when I share it and add it to the YouTube, I will put a timestamp in of when we actually start, so people don't have to watch this bit. Look at that colour. Good afternoon, Lorraine. Right, I'm going to watch this on silent so I can see who's joining us. And we're going to crack on. Why not? So, step number 5. We did our 4 steps last week, and this week is step number 5 to 9. No, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 to 8. Okay, so step number 5 is use and develop wellness tools. So, Kris, what is a wellness tool?
It's what you make of it, really. You've got inner wellness tools and outer wellness tools. So inner wellness tools can be helpful thinking, behaviour and feelings. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
So thinking, behaviour and feelings, we're going to get onto those shortly because they make up some of the next steps. Outer wellness tools, again, are different parts outside of you. So that could be quite a wide definition. Family, friends, home, work, social life, pets, holidays, community. So it could be like social wellness determinants as well. So inner is what's inside you, how you think, feel, behave. Outer is basically everything else. Massive definition of what a wellness tool can be.
And in simpler terms, how I say it for the kids, is a wellness tool is anything that makes you feel well. So anything that makes you feel good. We do obviously want them to be healthy wellness tools. They have to be kind of healthy behaviours to be wellness tools. Because you might say, I don't know, what makes me feel good that's not great? Eating my body weight in chocolate makes me feel good, but it's probably not a wellness tool. But feeding your body the right foods and eating food is obviously a wellness tool. So anything that makes you feel good. So yeah, anything that makes you feel well. So some of my wellness tools are going to the gym. Might not like it, but I do enjoy it once I'm there. Reading is a wellness tool for me. Getting 8 hours sleep a night sounds silly, but that is one of my wellness tools. And I know if I'm not doing that, then I don't feel well. Hello, Christine. Yay. Oh, we've got 9 viewers now. Hi, Elkie. Hi, Steve. Oh, we've got Steve Rowley and Steve Unwin. Hello. I'm just trying to say hello to anyone that's joined. Lorraine, music and holidays, wellness tools. Yeah, I think holidays are a wellness tool for most people, aren't they? Family and friends are my wellness tools too. So keeping good family and friends around me, making sure I'm seeing them. And you can always tell if you're not keeping on top of your wellness tools because you don't feel well. It's all them factors in your life that keep you feeling good, living your best life.
Yeah.
What are some of your wellness tools, Kris?
Holidays. Matt says 3D printing for him. And hi, Sally. Holidays, yeah, reading when I'm up to it. I like reading. I do like listening to podcasts and audio books as well. If I don't want to physically read, so I like to listen to things. A bit like music, helps to distract my mind a little bit. BB, pet obviously, and Tilly, is sort of adopted, half adopted pet. Walking with them, again, listening to podcasts.
Being in nature.
Yeah, out and about.
Yeah. And again, I like to simplify things just because I've always worked with the kids, so it makes it easier. And I've completely forgot what I was just going to say because I'm reading the comments. Christine, walking, paint by numbers, reading, documentaries. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what I was just going to say. How weird. Steve has said, a good wellness tool for me is helping people. I'd say that's one of the best wellness tools in the world. It does make you feel good. 100%. And what is it Buddha says? Wow, my brain is not with me today. And it actually is, but I can't think. Buddha says something about we should always be giving, obviously. I've completely simplified that profound thought, but I can't think of it. Has anybody got any other good wellness tools? That's what I was going to say. So I always say to the kids, it's really important to identify your wellness tools. Like, they might seem like simple day-to-day choices and it's just the way you live your life. However, it's important to sometimes identify them and mentally put them in a box or write them down, because when you're not feeling great, it's all of them things that we stop doing and we forget what makes us feel well. And when we're not feeling great, we can't remember what we do when we feel good, because you lose motivation for everything, don't you? It's always the wellness tools and the things that make us feel good that go out the window first. So it's always really, really useful to either write down, draw pictures, just say them out loud, really identify your wellness tools. Because it sounds silly that you would forget what makes you feel well, but you do. When you're not feeling great, you can't think what you normally do when you're feeling good. So if you know, I have my 10 wellness tools and they are this, you can really try and push yourself to do some of them when you're not feeling great. Matt, dog walking. Yeah, for sure. A lot of people say that one. I think walking and being in nature is arguably good for everybody.
Yeah. It's about not being afraid to get rid of wellness tools as well. Yeah. Ones that used to be good for you or used to work for you, you find you're not getting the same benefits from. So you might get attached to things. It might be hard to let some things go. And again, I suppose, sort of linking what Meg said, that maybe friends from 20 years ago, it might have been good for you then, it may not be any good for you now. Different habits. Say I used to, 20 odd years ago, go out every Friday, Saturday night. Wouldn't be good for me now. So what was good for me 20 years ago, not good for me now. So adapting against using and developing, don't be stuck with them. Look at what works for you, what doesn't, get rid of what's not working now, and try and see if there's something else that you can replace it with, or adapt an existing wellness tool that you've got.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because sometimes I'll do things that used to make me feel good and I'll think, why is this not making me feel good? But it's life, isn't it? We grow and we evolve, and what suited us 2 years ago might not suit us now. I think that's really important. But we're going to get onto that with evaluating, aren't we, the next step? But it is, yeah, if it's not working for you anymore, throw it out. And like you say, you can have friends that you've been friends with forever, but as soon as they're not adding to your life, or they're a source of exhaustion, irritability, anything like that, just get rid. Stop watering dead plants. It's the best way to be miserable, surrounded by people you don't really like and don't really make you feel great. So if someone's just popped into your mind, get rid. See ya. Wouldn't want to be here. Okay, Sally's just give us loads of wellness tools. Adult colouring, reading, mindful cleaning. Oh, that's what I'm going to start calling it, because people say it's a bit of a problem when I clean, when I'm stressed. I'm just going to start calling it mindful cleaning. 100%. If you do it mindfully, it's great. Relaxing bath. Oh, I'm loving all of these. Painting my nails, yes. Makeup, dog makeup is a massive one for me. So when I'm not feeling good, if I have a bath, tan, put shimmer oil on, whiten my teeth, do my brows, put a good set of lashes on, I feel like a different person. It's silly, but you have to force yourself to do these things when you're not feeling great, or that's when we get into a pit, don't we? Dog walking, sleeping, that's mine. Gardening, music, makeup, pamper session, cooking, baking, engaging with others. So engaging with others is one that I avoid straight away. So you know if I'm not doing great, because I just ignore you. I just ignore everyone. I avoid them. And I always feel better when I do see the people that feel good for me. However, I know in my life I've not been brave enough to cut some people out. And when I'm not feeling great, they're not people to spend time with, because they just drain me. So I am quite good at staying away from them people, even if I'm not brave enough to put them in the bin. Elkie, thyroid patient forums, support for like-minded people, use support systems are so important, so important. Counselling, antidepressants. I feel like I'm finally starting to be able to live again. Just fatigue and endless sleep left at the minute. Good luck, everyone. Oh, that's a lovely comment. Thank you, Elkie. Tony, I get my nails done. Me too, hon. Me too. And if you really need an extra kick, get smiley faces on them. Just reminds you to be happy. Great. I'm just going to say hi to some people who've joined us. Leanne, hello. Diane, hello. Zoe, Tony, and Christine keeps coming on and off. Hello, Christine. Have you got any more thoughts on wellness tools?
No, there's some that you've got better control of than others. Yeah. I can choose to go out for a walk. Harder to choose where I live. I do have some. I'm lucky to have an element of choice in that. Not everybody does. So sometimes of it is then coming back to what we say about the serenity. Grant the serenity to accept things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That was very quick. Can we just slow that down for the people that have not had it before?
Grant the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
I love that.
It's some things are just out of your control or much harder to control than other things, but you can fall into the trap of trying to control absolutely everything, and that can make things worse for you. So trying to know the difference between what you can change and what you can't, and trying again. You might not be able to necessarily straight away control where you live, but there might be certain adaptations that you can make in that environment to make it more yours, more suitable.
Tony, only kidding about the nails fuming. I wasn't. Absolutely not going to do. But I'm having counselling at the minute. Fantastic. Yeah, it's coming back to, again, what we said last week about that circle of control. And I think that's just my way of understanding the change the things you can, accept things you can't, basically. If you're feeling overwhelmed with what's going right, what's going wrong, what wellness tools work, what ones don't, come back to what's within your control. And sometimes, again, for me, I think in pictures, so everything has to be visual. I write what's in my control, what isn't. Either make 2 lists or a circle, put the things inside my control in the circle, the things outside of my control outside, and then you can start to break down. And I know it can seem a bit long-winded to write it down and make pictures and make it visual, but I think it can really, really sort out, kind of put your ducks in a row in your head. That works for me anyway. But it is just about what however works for you, but adapting your wellness tools all the time to what works for you, what doesn't. We're not the same person we were yesterday, and we're not going to be the same person tomorrow. So just keep finding what works for you, and again, throw out what doesn't and try new things. Always try new wellness tools. You might be surprised at what makes you feel good. And please, if things don't make you feel good, get rid. Life's too short. You just need me following you around going, no, that doesn't make you feel good, get rid. That person's negative, get rid. I write a diary. Me too. It really helps. And funny enough, again, all the things that I know make me feel good, as soon as I start feeling low or anxious, I avoid them. Avoid them like the plague. When I know I need to journal, I avoid it. But that's when it's about recognising this is something that makes me feel good. Push yourself to do it so you don't stay in that low for too long. Same with the gym. If I'm not feeling good, I'll avoid it when I know it makes me feel good. You know? Any more thoughts?
No.
You come in with the rational reason. I just go off on one. I know I do. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Shall we move on to the next one then?
Yes, begin personal evaluation, although we have started talking about it.
Yes, we have.
Talking about it, because we do link in quite heavily.
Mm-hmm. So step number 6. Oh, I was trying to do a line across the screen. That didn't work. Begin personal evaluation. Go on, do you want to... No? Okay, so I'm going to read straight from this. Following on, this is a gradual self-assessment of your thinking, behaviours, feeling and things in your life. It's just about evaluating what's working, what isn't. Oh, that literally said that. I was going to carry on reading. Why personal evaluation? Why, Kris?
I don't know, Meg, why?
Because you know you better than anyone else, and we can get really fogged and clouded with other people's opinion and people wanting to tell you what makes you feel good. You know what makes you feel good. Check in with yourself. Do I feel good? Okay, what have I done today to make myself feel good? Do I feel really, I was going to swear then, really rubbish today? Okay, what have I not done, or what have I done? Just be interested in yourself. When do you feel your best? Is it when you've got people around you? Is it when you've stayed away from people? Is it when you've been moving more, eating better, drinking more water, getting enough sleep? Just be interested in yourself. If you start to ask yourself, even just once a day, how am I feeling today? Answer it and then say why. Honestly, it's amazing what you can come up with. Oh, I lost my train of thought then because I had a phone call coming in. How annoying. Um, I've lost it. I've lost it. But yeah, and other people, and I'm murder for doing this. I'm so. Is it evangelistic? What is it when you try and put your thoughts on other people?
I know what you're saying.
Anyway, I'm murder for doing it. I'm like, it makes me feel good, so you need to do this. I promise you'll feel good. But really, what works for me isn't necessarily what's going to work for you, and I always do it. I always do it. If I find something that works for me, I'm like, everyone, you need to do this because I just want to help everyone. But again, it's about helping yourself first. That's the best thing you can do for anyone. Help yourself, be the best version of you, and everyone around you benefits. But I'm just going to stop preaching now.
We're saying about begin personal evaluation, sort of links in a bit with what Tony said. He said the past can't be changed, the future is to be written. It's true. You can't change what's happened in the past, but so like you, Meg sort of touched on, you can learn from it. What's worked for you in the past, what hasn't worked for you in the past, what's been led you down a dark route sometimes. So you can sort of avoid those pitfalls and those paths that take you in the wrong direction. You can learn from the past, but like Tony says, it's the future's yet to be written yet, and it's yours.
It's very profound. I mean, I just think miracles can happen if you genuinely ask yourself once a day, how am I feeling today? Why? It sounds simple. Just check in with yourself once a day. How am I feeling? Why? And it's amazing when you ask yourself questions and you sit with yourself mindfully, you will answer yourself. You will come up with an answer. Just keep asking yourself until you give you an answer. Sounds a bit la la, but I'm telling you, it works.
Yeah. Christine says she didn't write a diary when she was really poorly, but she had sticky notes everywhere, and that helped.
Again, adapt.
And against what you touched on last week, isn't it? It's to get what's in here out of in here onto there so you can see it properly. That might be a part of it.
Lorraine, see where you are, where you want to be, then looking forward to where you want to be. Okay, wow, I read that terribly. See where you are, where you want to be, then looking forward to where you want to be with the help and support you can get. That makes sense to you? Great, good. Sally, it helps hearing others say this works well for me. That way it goes, I find that, but then I just get too pushy with what I think works.
I think that's a good idea as part of the peer support group ethos, is you can hear other people saying, I tried this and it worked for me. And you can go away and go, yeah, I'll give that a go. If it works for you, that's absolutely fantastic. But if it doesn't, that's something that's not for you or hasn't worked for you, you've got the group there to come back to, and you can discuss why it didn't work. Is there another way you can look at it or try something? Is it about smart goal setting? And that's something we'll talk about in a future one. But is your goal too big at that time? Do you need to look at what you're trying to do and break it down into more manageable bite-sized pieces? And then the group's there to support you in that. So again, I've gone a bit off a tangent myself now. I've lost my train of thought.
I always do it. Yeah. I think it can be arguably as profound letting go rather than gaining wellness tools. So I find when we're in a lot of distress, it's a lot of the time because we're holding on to things that no longer serve us. And I think that really comes into play with wellness tools and people. Just let go. It's amazing how much better you feel. Just don't get precious with things. Like you say, wellness tools. Running might work for you for 5 years. It might work for you for 10 years. And once it becomes something that you're doing kind of not to feel good, I'm not making any sense. It's not serving you. It's not a wellness tool. If things aren't making you feel good anymore, people, places, things, change it. We do have power over things. Obviously, there are some things that are slightly out of our control, but letting go can be as helpful as gaining wellness tools. There's no point gaining loads of wellness tools if we're not letting go of the stuff that's causing the problem. Does that make any sense? I do rant. I know I do.
It's like sometimes what my wellness tool I said is podcasts and listening to books. They're good. They do distract me. They do work for me. But sometimes I use them in a healthy way. I do become obsessive, and I do see it as like almost a job or a task to listen to as many things as I possibly can.
I do say.
So it's why it's healthy. I sometimes use it in an unhealthy way, and sometimes it's trying to recognise that. But trying to use and develop wellness tools, there are worse ones in there that I could turn to. that I've used in the past. So I'll settle for being a bit obsessive about podcasts over other ways of managing what's going on in my head.
And again, it's just about being self-aware like that. Check in with yourself, ask questions. Like Claudia just said, I like doing little check-ins in my notebook every day. My tip is to write at least one good thing that happened that day. Oh, gratitude is everything. I'm not going to go off on one on gratitude because we'll do it in another live, but just say it out loud or write it down. Just 3 things you're grateful for every day, or like Claudia, just one good thing you can take from the day. It completely transforms your mindset. But yeah, little check-ins. It sounds silly, but it's just habit forming. It's getting these wellness tools habitual. That's all we need. And yeah, just constantly evaluating what's working, what isn't. Tony, today I feel really lonely. I'm sorry you feel like that today. Do you come to any of our sessions? Can you get involved in anything we do? That would be nice. If you don't already, give us a little message. We can see if there's anything we can get you into. Sally, letting go of little emoji poop is powerful. It certainly is. Can be more powerful than gaining one more wellness tool. Letting go of 5 things that don't work. See you later. Tony, sometimes it's great. Lorraine says, Tony, sometimes it's good to be around others. It certainly is. And sometimes we need to recharge on our own. I know when I'm not feeling great, I need alone time, but that's because I don't feel lonely when I'm alone.
Can you talk for 2 minutes while I can try to see if I can find our guest speaker? I'm sure you can manage for 2 minutes.
I'm sure I can. Has anyone got any more thoughts on personal evaluation? So, on that line of thought, Tony, don't know anything about where you are. Come on to our website, come on to everything. We have a YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook. We are a mental health organisation based in Stoke-on-Trent. So it is kind of for Stoke-on-Trent and surrounding areas, but there are always online things you can join in with. And if you give us a message, let us know where you are, what kind of support you're looking for. We can always signpost you to a service close by. We're always here to help, no matter what. Sally, gratitude is so important and powerful. Starting my day with 5 things I'm grateful for and why starts my day off the right way. Honestly, so not to go off on one, but I've been given the reins to go off on one here. It literally rewrites our brain. It's science. If we can just start carving out that positive pathway a little bit more than the negative pathway in our brains, we will transform the way we think, and we will naturally start to think more positive. We are scientifically biased to be negative. Thanks, creator of whoever made our brains. Great, thanks for that. So it is easier to be negative. So when it feels like it's hard work to be happy or it's hard work to think positively, it's because it actually is. However, the more we practice, eventually, like I say, I think in pictures. Every time we have a negative thought, we're digging away at the little negative pathway, okay? Every time we force ourselves to have a positive one, we dig a little bit in the positive one. Whatever we dig the most is where we're naturally going to flow. Does that make any sense? I'm hoping I'm making sense. So the more time we spend digging our positive pathway, the more likely it is that when a situation occurs and life happens, we're naturally going to think a little bit more positively. Yes, it's hard work, but it's hard work being miserable too. I know which hard work I prefer. So just start putting them daily habits in. And it is start small and regular. Consistency is key with everything in life. And positive, helpful thinking is the same. And I just think gratitude is transformative. So yeah, when you wake up in the morning, say in your head, say it out loud, write it down, whatever works for you. Every time you remember, just consciously say, today I'm grateful for. So for me, today I'm grateful for my health, the health of my family and friends. I'm grateful for all of you joining me and listening to me ramble on. I am grateful for my bed. I'm always grateful for my bed because it's so comfy. And I'm also grateful for... What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for so much. My niece. Let's go for that one today. So that's literally what I'll do when I wake up. Just 5 things I'm grateful for. And then at the end of the day, a bit like Claudia, I will identify in the day what was good. Rather than what we all naturally do is lie in bed and go, oh God, that went wrong today. Oh, that was so annoying today. Oh, got to do that in the morning. Just identify the good things. Yeah, we've got Kris back. Come on, Kris. Come and join me. And it doesn't look like we have our little guest speaker.
No, it doesn't seem to be in.
That's sad. Based in Fenton, Tony, come and get involved. Join the family. Shall we move on to the next one? Because I've rambled about step 6. I mean, they're all a bit linked, these 4 steps. I think that's why we're doing them in a little group today. So step number 7. So we've done, I'm going to go through them again. Number 1, admit you've got a problem. Number 2, take action. Number 3, trust and cooperate. Number 4, get the power. Number 5, use and develop wellness tools. Number 6, begin personal evaluation. And we're now moving on to number 7, which we've kind of talked about. Cultivate helpful thinking. So this step places emphasis on the importance of helpful thinking in your mental well-being. And I want to read a little quote here because I love the Dalai Lama, the Buddha, anything like that, you know. We are what we think. Oh, Lord Buddha. It says Lord Buddha. I've never heard Buddha called Lord Buddha. Anyway, sorry, here's the quote. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. And I can't tell you how true this is. This is one of them times when I'm going to force my opinion on you. Thoughts become things. What you think about becomes your reality. So really start to become conscious of the thoughts you have. Like them conscious thoughts, not how you feel, not what you do, the actual thought that today's going to be a rubbish day or today's going to be a great day. Start listening to your own thoughts. Listen to that little person running around in your head screaming, you're really rubbish at this, or you're great today. Start listening to it. It's usually quite a negative, horrible little gremlin, but we can't change that. We do have control over our thoughts, which can be a mind-blowing thought in itself. They don't happen without us. We can direct our thoughts. Sorry, I thought you had something to say then. I felt a thought brewing from you. What else am I going to say? So everything starts with our thoughts, and we've not gone over this before, but we have a little cycle that we go through. So thoughts, feelings, behaviours. It's like a little think link is what we call it here. It changes, and we are in control of 2 parts of this think link, which are our thoughts and our behaviours. The one thing that we're not really in control of is our feelings, not directly in control of. But what we can control is whether we choose to think positively or negatively. We can override that. And like I say, eventually, the more we override that, we will start to naturally be a little bit more positive. In turn, our feelings will feel better. Whereas what most of us do is get really caught up on the feeling. So when we're feeling sad, angry, irritable, low, whatever that feeling is we don't want to be feeling, all we think, the thoughts we have are, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be angry. We're caught up on the feeling. That's the bit that we can't directly control. Forget about the feeling, come back to the bits within your control, which is the thoughts you have and the way you choose to behave. So don't succumb to the feeling. Does that make any sense? Yeah. I'm hoping I'm making sense. Come back to what you can control and just remember that you can control your thoughts. Obviously, a lot of them happen subconsciously, but you do have power to lead them to the positive or the negative. So take control of your thoughts and the feelings will take control of themselves eventually. That think link has to catch up. We can't keep having positive thoughts and keep feeling rubbish. It just doesn't work like that. If we transform our thoughts, we'll transform the way we feel. Let the feelings deal with themselves.
Yeah.
Okay?
And there's different techniques you can try to use. Sort of find yourself having a negative thought coming in or creeping in or suddenly hits you sometimes, as they can do. You can either dwell on that and let that sort of guide your path, and that's how you are now for the next couple of hours. Or you can try and, say, for example, try refocusing. Is one that works for me. So you've got a negative thought in, and so refocusing is just trying to think of something happier, something better. So that sort of takes over where your mind is, what you're thinking of at that time. So you're thinking of something happy as opposed to whatever the negative thought is you've got. It takes a bit of effort, it takes a bit of work, and again, if you lose your concentration quite quickly, that negative thought can sort of try and bounce its way back in. So again, you've got to just think and refocus on the positive thoughts.
A tip that works for me, so again, we know by now, I think in pictures like a child. What I do when I feel that negative voice running away with itself, telling me how rubbish I am at everything, everyone's laughing at me, everyone's whatever. I literally heard the thoughts again then. Weird, isn't it? When you're checking, you can hear the horrible thoughts. I visualise either like a big stop sign, or if I'm feeling really aggressive, I imagine myself like punching or kicking the thought away. And for me, it's just about opening that fight up in my head, actually. No, I'm not going to allow that thought to keep coming. I'm going to visually kick it away, stop sign, and then what I then do is go, yeah, you've tried to come in and be a little negative Nelly again, haven't you? Horrible little voice. And overwrite it with something positive. Even if I'm not feeling it, I'll be like, I am great, or I'm doing amazing, you're great, Megan. And I will overwrite it with a positive thought. And eventually, that little horrible gremlin will get a little bit weaker and a little bit weaker, and you can just go, no, not today, hon, and flick it away rather than have to like fight it.
Yeah, that's why you have your positive affirmations, isn't it?
Yeah. So I also have an app on my phone. I think it's called Positive Affirmations, I think. And every hour, it just gives me a little notification and it says like, I am brave, I'm doing my best, I'm bold, whatever it is, it pops up on my phone and I read it out loud as if I'm saying it. And yeah, most of the time I don't feel it, I don't believe it, but it's about just doing it. Eventually you will feel it and you will believe it. So things like positive affirmations are me just digging away at that positive path rather than just letting the gremlins keep digging at the negative one, because it's just if you let them get on with it, they cause havoc. We have to start putting up a little bit of a fight. Yeah. Great app called I Am. Actually, I think that's the one I've got. Yeah, there's loads of apps. Last week we talked about a lot of them as well, but there are loads of apps that can support positive mental well-being if you look for them. So yeah, it starts with our thoughts. Shall we jump on to the next step, because it's all very much linked?
Yeah.
So step number 8. I'm going to read through all of our steps again so you will start to remember them. I don't even know why I look down as if I don't know them. Number 1, admit you've got a problem. Number 2, take action. Number 3, trust and cooperate. Number 4, get the power. I don't know why I have to do that. Number 5, use and develop wellness tools. Number 6, begin personal evaluation. Number 7, cultivate helpful thinking. And number 8, which we're moving on to now, cultivate helpful behaviour. So coming back to our think link, it's all together. So we've got thoughts, feelings, behaviours. Normally we can kind of start anywhere in the cycle, but I like to just start with thoughts because I think everything starts with a thought. We have a thought that then determines how we feel, then our feeling then determines how we behave. And like I said before, there are 2 parts of this cycle that we're constantly going through that we can control: our thoughts and our behaviours. Forget about the feelings. If we deal with the thoughts and the behaviours, the feelings have got to catch up. You don't have positive thoughts and behaviours and rubbish feelings. Just scientifically, it doesn't work. It doesn't happen. So if we put the work in where we can, the feelings will catch up. I don't know where I was going with that thought. I feel like I'm really good at making a vibrating sound. So yeah, the thoughts. We've talked about the thoughts, how we can do that. How do we cultivate healthy behaviour? So for me, and again, a lot of this is my opinion, it's about not succumbing to the feeling. So if I wake up feeling irritable, angry, which happens often, I feel like it's hormones, men. I feel like you get away with murder, but whatever. If I wake up feeling like that, I'm really conscious to first deal with the thoughts, override some of them negative thoughts to some positive ones, do some gratitude, try and cultivate some good feeling, and then I'll also consciously not succumb to the feeling with a behaviour. So rather than feeding that feeling, feeding that little anger gremlin with a slam of the door or a nasty little comment or whatever, all of these unhelpful behaviours that feed the feeling, I will consciously do the opposite of what my instinct is to feed the feeling. Does that make sense? So I'll kill the feeling rather than feed it. I'll choose behaviours that I know are going to make me feel better rather than feed the feeling. So say if I wake up and I'm feeling really low, miserable, rather than doing what my instinct would be, which would be stay in bed, I'll consciously go, oh, if I do that, I'm going to feed the feeling and the feeling's going to get bigger. I'll drag myself out of bed and have a shower or go for a walk in the fresh air. Does that make sense? I say that a lot because I feel like I go off on one and I'm not sure if my pictures are translating to words or not. Hopefully they are. Well, any thoughts on healthy behaviours?
No,
Helpful slash healthy.
I think we've touched on a few of them if we've gone along, haven't we? Again, sometimes it's a difference between what's helpful at the time is what's helpful in the moment is what's helpful in the long run. Like you said, you might think what a helpful behaviour is, I'm just going to stay in bed, I'm tired. That's what you might want to do at that moment in time, but it's not going to be helpful in the long run. You're just going to end up getting stuck in a rut. Many a time I wake up in the morning and think I don't really want to get out of bed.
Most days.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll just end up feeling guilty if I don't do anything with the day, and then that will start making me feel useless, a bit worthless. So try and put something positive in action at the beginning of the day, actually doing something, achieving some goals, taking some steps, just makes me feel better as the day goes on.
And if you're blessed with both depression and anxiety, which a lot of us are, you'll know the battle of wanting to stay in bed and then the guilt of going, you're really lazy though. It's just a constant battle. It's a nice combination. Tony, it's about doing small steps. It absolutely, absolutely is. And it's took me so long to learn this. And I still don't do it. I'll say it, but I don't do it. It is small steps and consistency. Consistency is the key. And I feel like you hear that phrase all the time. And you hear it, but you don't listen. And I'll constantly go, 100% or nothing, 100% or nothing. That is the cycle of my life. And I'm saying it out loud now, and I'll still do it. I'm still doing it rather than just starting small and keeping consistent with everything in life. I just think that is the key to success. Small steps, small, consistent, persistent steps. I agree, Tony. Thanks. Healthy behaviours, just talking about throwing out wellness tools that are good for you. No, that are bad for you. What was I going to say? Yeah, again, going back to personal evaluation, it's about evaluating if it is a healthy behaviour, because we can have things that make us feel good, going on a session for 2 days, eating 2 kilos of chocolate, what else makes me feel good that's not good for me? Shouting at people, getting really aggressive, things like that. It's just about checking in with yourself and evaluating, is it helpful or is it just short term making me feel good? There's a difference between kind of the instant gratification of, oh, I'm going to feel good if I do this, and but is it helpful? Is it healthy? And trying to chuck out them ones that aren't healthy behaviours. Tony, you're only human, you have to remember you're not alone even though you feel it, which is what I'm telling myself right now. 100%. Yeah, I really agree. Thank you, Tony.
One of the brilliant parts about changes as well, because you're not alone. There's other people.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have had changes in my life for a very long time. Blessed. Shelley, I think keeping helpful thinking as a routine, saying every morning at breakfast or coffee, it's habit. It sounds silly, but it is the smallest things, like looking in the mirror and saying, today is going to be a good day, can transform your life. I know I'm very dramatic, but the changes can be dramatic, these small things. And just every time you remember it, every time it pops into your head, or you hear me moaning at my face just pops into your head and you think, I remember when Megan said that. Just say something nice to yourself, say something positive. It's just tiny, tiny, tiny seconds in your day, and it can transform how you feel. I've just ate a whole Battenberg. Oh, I wish I had. I really wish I had. I'm just drinking black coffee. Great. It's probably why I'm talking so fast. Maybe. Anyone got any thoughts on any really helpful behaviours that help them? Let's share. For me, my helpful behaviour is same for my wellness tools. So yeah, I think it's just making sure the wellness tools we are cultivating are healthy, both long term and short term. It's just about evaluating, self-evaluation all the time. Oh, I don't think I said this earlier. So what I do for my self-evaluation is every month, at the end of the month, I will give myself a little review. And it sounds a bit anal to do so. However, it just really helps me to keep things in check. And I'll go, okay, how do I feel? Has this been a successful month? And I determine success on how happy I feel. And then I'll identify what I've done well and what I've neglected. So have I neglected being around positive people, like Lorraine just said? Or have I neglected exercise? Have I neglected a balanced diet? Have I neglected creativity? Have I neglected rest? What have I done well? What haven't I? And just then setting my goals for the next month of, okay, right, I need to get more rest in. I need to socialise a bit more. That's a big one for me. I'll just avoid people constantly. And I know I feel better when I see people, but again, it's got to be the right type of people. I know I go on about it, but it's about checking in with yourself constantly and asking yourself, how do I feel? So when you're around people, when you come away from spending time with someone, ask yourself, how do you feel? Do you feel better or worse for seeing them? And if you're saying worse, hon, get rid. Life's too short. Don't see that person again. I mean, tell them, because that's a bit rude, but just get rid. You do you, boo. It's true though, isn't it? So true. Oh, I was going to say something else then. How do you feel when... But the same as well, when you eat food, ask yourself after, how do I feel? Do I feel good after eating that or do I not? You know, when you do anything, how do I feel when I'm doing it? We just go through lives ignoring how we feel. Just get in the habit of asking yourself, how do I feel right now? And you will answer yourself. It's amazing what comes out sometimes. You'll think, oh, I didn't know I was feeling that. It's like there's two people living inside your head. Maybe there is. That's a bit much for a Wednesday morning, isn't it? It's not even Wednesday, is it?
Nope.
Well, there you go. That's where my head's at. What day is it? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Bit much for a Tuesday morning. Shelley, I bought yet another book called Coffee Self-Talk, and since dipping in and out of the book, I have amazing days with not too dramatic lows. That's incredible. I've not read that, but I assume it's just positive affirmations in the morning. Told you, transformative. See, this is me pushing my ideas on everyone. Andrea, stepping out of normal daily routine, not running on autopilot, try something different, push yourself a little. Yes, Queen, true. Shelley, my saying is, Shelley, the world is a better place with you in it. True, Shelley, it is. It's a much better place with you in it. I like that one. It's amazing. Honestly, words, thoughts become things. I promise you. Everything starts with thoughts. And if you're into law of attraction, don't even get me started. Thoughts are things. We create our lives. We really do. That doesn't mean we attract all the bad things, because that can feel very blamey, but we can. The things we can control can transform our lives. They really can. Has anyone got any more thoughts on healthy behaviours? I'm trying to think of healthy behaviours that I avoid. The gym. Actually, I've been doing twice a day recently. It's great. I don't enjoy it. I do when I'm there. I do. I need to see thoughts become things. I tell myself I don't enjoy it. It's such a lie. I do when I'm there. They do, lol. Law of attraction. It's true. It's so true. We can speak our life into existence. Again, me pushing what I believe on other people. But if you've not heard of law of attraction, get yourself on YouTube. Watch The Secret on Netflix. Get some podcasts on about it. Sometimes you can panic when you first start learning about it. I've been reading and listening about it for about 8 years now. It's become quite trendy now, and I feel like one of them people was like, I liked it before it was trendy. However, you can panic a bit when you first start learning about it, because you panic about every thought that you feel like you're going to manifest it straight away, which is not the case. So just if you are going to start dipping into it, don't panic. Don't panic. However, your thoughts do become things. Lorraine, doing things that are good for you, helping you to appreciate life. Hello, Rachel. True, Lorraine. So true. You got any more thoughts, Kris?
No, not on this.
I can't believe we haven't got a guest today.
No.
We might have a guest next week. We won't have a guest next week because we're not here next week.
No, we might have to try and do a very short 5-minute live with the guests if we can get hold of them.
When? Today?
When we can get hold of them. Yeah.
Great.
When it's going to be.
Has anyone got any more tips based on the 4 steps that we've covered today, which are, broken record technique here, Number 5, use and develop wellness tools. In short, anything that makes us feel good. Step number 6, begin a personal evaluation, aka check in with yourself. Step 7, cultivate helpful thinking. Just think positive. Such a big, broad statement, but it works. And step number 8, cultivate helpful behaviour. I love that. So many people did that last year, didn't they? So Tony says, I had my Christmas decorations up in September last year because me and my kids were fed up. So many people did that. Again, do what works for you. If it makes you feel good and you're not hurting anyone else and it's healthy behaviour, do it. Do it to death. Nicola, changes online is brilliant. Thank you. I agree. Tony, do what makes you feel good. Just do it and do it without apologising. Again, disclaimer, if it's not harming anyone else and it's a healthy behaviour. But if it makes you feel good and it's helpful, just do it. Do it all the time. If knitting makes you feel great, do it 24 hours of the day. Tony, live for now. That's all we have right now. We don't live in the past. We don't live in the future. We're not hostage to who we were yesterday and we don't know who we'll be tomorrow. So just enjoy the now. True. I'm going to become a motivational speaker. What do you think?
You'd be very good at it.
Oh, God. See, that little gremlin in my head just said, you're so ridiculous, you'd be terrible. Evil. Now I'm going to do it even more. I'd always laugh on a tangent, though. Wouldn't work, would it? When I watch motivational speakers on YouTube, which I do quite often when I'm at the gym. Sad, but again, words help me. Oh, see, I lost it. They don't do this. They just speak and it's just wisdom constantly. Mine's just like waffle. Shelley, I often, like now, procrastinate about taking the dog out for a walk. I just got a massive pain in my head. So I'm now saying the fresh air will make me feel alive. I will have the chance to say hello to all the flowers and nature, and before you know it, I feel brilliant. I love that. Absolutely. Speak things into existence. I don't make plans. We are here for a short time, not a long time, so grab what you want. Take all the good bits of life, but don't steal things. Any more lovely thoughts? See, even this is positive. If none of you have stopped to say 5 things you're grateful for right now, do it now. Stop what you're doing. It'll take you 20 seconds. Make them habits now. Stop putting off the things that make us feel good. Do it now. So our next live, which will be in weeks. Will it be in 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Sally, everyone has their own style of motivational speaking. You may think you're rambling where others don't. No, I think it'll be a general consensus that I ramble. But my picture thinking might help people. What's procrastinate? I can't even say it. Wow, procrastinating mean putting things off. Just keep putting them off. What was I going to say? Oh, so our next live will be in 2 weeks, and we're going to continue with the last. Is it 4 steps?
Yes.
The last 4 steps. Oh, we've done 4 a week. That makes me happy. Which will be. I'm not going to tell you what they are. We're going to do our last 4 steps in 2 weeks. So please join us again. I love it when you interact with us. It just means I'm not talking to myself.
Yeah. Just remember, if you want to find out about the steps in more detail and how you can sort of use them more in your life, we've got a foundation recovery workshop. It is free if you're a Stoke-on-Trent resident. Right at the beginning, I put a link in to all the workshops. You can find details there and book on. Obviously, we've got all the peer support groups online or in real life, either in Victoria Court or in Stoke or across the community. Meg's got news on a new one starting, I think.
Yes, we do have a new ladies only peer support starting. It's tomorrow the 11th. Yeah, tomorrow the 11th. That is at Joiners Square, and that I can't remember the time. So I feel like it starts at 12 o'clock. But we have got a post going out on Facebook this afternoon, which tells you that. So that is a new ladies only face-to-face meeting.
Yeah. And just remember, please, you still need to book on currently while we're trying to limit numbers. attending.
It's been great listening to you. Thank you. It's been lovely sharing thoughts with everyone. I love to hear other people's opinion. I get sick of listening to myself and Kris. Any more final thoughts before we close up today? Again, any information you need, we've got Instagram, which is Changes HW. I think our Twitter is the same, Changes HW. We have our Facebook, which we're going live on now. So if you don't follow us, click on the little icon, follow us. We share all our updates, and then obviously on our website, we have all the updates on there, all the meetings. There's a million ways to contact us. I say this every week. We can personal message us, DM us, comment on any of our posts, give us a ring, give us a text, email us, send a pigeon, whatever works for you. We like to give you as many ways to contact us as possible, just so it's whatever you're comfortable with. It's been great. Thank you for sharing from Sally. Thank you, Sally and Jackie. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to doing our last 4 steps. I hope you found some of what we said today helpful. I know I do go off on one. I know. Terrible. Any final thoughts before we close up? If you haven't done it, do your 5 things you're grateful for. Say something positive out loud. Or even better, what really cultivates healthy, happy feelings for me is go and say something nice to someone else. Then you feel good and they feel good. It's like an extra win. Go and do something nice. Today's a great day to be happy. And guess what? You can choose to be happy. We can. Any more thoughts? I don't think we've got any. Thank you so much from Lorraine. Thank you, Lorraine, for joining us again.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to end our live.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Have a good day, everybody.